Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Laverne Board and Zone Appeals. It's November the 29th at 5:30 p.m. We do have a quorum. With three of us, we do have a quorum. So if you would review them, approve the minutes, or look through the minutes for October the 25th regular meeting. I'll take any changes or any comments from there. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Moving on, new business. Appeal the decision of the city planner, property located at 142 Stones River Road, tax map 15M, Group C, Parcel 1, C2 Highway Services, zoning district, property owned by Titan Home Builders, LLC. Mr. Logan, give your report, please.
Thank you. This request is located at 142 Stones River Road, so it's not very far from here. And the site is outlined in blue there on the screen. It's directly across from Pool and Spa Depot, so it's across the street from Pool and Spa. This is the closer view, so you can see the existing property. It's a very deep property and not very wide. It's approximately 4 acres, give or take. And property is zoned C2, which is commercial zoning, of course. So here on the zoning map, it's right there, outlined in blue again. So all of this red color between the railroad track and Murfreesboro Road is zoned commercial. And it's all zoned the same, basically C2, except for this area of Glendale Drive is zoned R1. These are pictures from the property. So that's the sign that was posted at the road. If you've driven by, you may remember this black fence at the entrance. So this is looking toward the railroad track. The railroad track is just west of this picture. And then this is from the driveway. This is actually a new driveway. The old driveway is here where the fence is. So from this new driveway looking back at Pool and Spa Depot across the street. And then this view is into the property. And again, it's a very deep property, but it's not very wide, and it does run beside the railroad track for the whole length of the property. So this applicant's requesting to appeal the decision made by the planning department regarding the requested use of the property. In your packet tonight, you've got the booklet, and I've got some of those pictures here in just a moment that I'll go through that are also in your booklet if you want a better look at them. But they are proposing heavy truck and tractor trailer service and repair, and if allowed, this enterprise would be located in a commercial district. The concern of staff is that the character and intent of C2 is to allow uses that provide a transitional zone between sensitive residential neighborhoods and more intrusive, loud, and more intense uses of industrial areas. And the requested use for the heavy truck and tractor trailer repair would not fit the character of the transitional zone between the two separate districts. Also, vehicle storage areas are explicitly listed as prohibited uses under section 5.053.2 of the zoning ordinance, which contains the C2 provisions. And staff has other concerns that when not in use, trucks and or heavy machinery and other vehicles will be stored outside in the open. Also concerning is the need for outdoor storage of vehicles, machinery, possibly other tools and materials. And all of this is especially true given that this parcel is in the Murfreesboro Road Overlay District. And the purpose of that overlay district is to increase the aesthetics of the city and make it more appealing for development. and residence. So this is in the booklet again in your packets. I mean, this building at this point is like a prototype or a hypothetical building. I did notice going through these, so this building would not be allowed anyway because the overlay district requires brick and stone. So we're already kind of going down that path of industrial type design for the buildings, which is what you expect when you have heavier uses. This is another view in the book. It's the front of the building. Again, any of this would have to go to the Planning Commission after this body, and it would have to go to the Planning Commission to get their vote for or against. So this is not the end necessarily. And this plan is submitted, they're calling it sheet C 3.0, and that's also in your book or booklet that the applicant submitted. So that outlines their future plans for the property. I think that was all the photos. There is a narrative in the book as well that they offered that describes their business and their history. I believe they're located on Sand Hill Road currently in the city of Laverne. So they're on Sand Hill Road, which primarily is zoned industrial currently. So I don't know of many commercial parcels on Sand Hill Road. So that's, I guess, overview, if you will, and that completes the report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Logan. Do we have the applicant here this evening to want to stand up and, if you would, raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sir.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
James Nyquist, 574 Franklin Road.
Thank you. Have any comments on what Mr. Logan said on his report?
Yeah, a few, I guess. So I guess generally speaking, the reason that we're here is after working with them and talking through the proposed project, there was a discrepancy on the proposed use based on the C2 zoning ordinance, and there was not a clearly defined use under the listed out permitted uses under the C2 zoning ordinance. That really where the automotive service would fit underneath. However, within the zoning ordinance under the district description, it clearly lists out automobile and vehicular service establishments. I think what these guys have proposed to do as part of their project is this automotive vehicular service, which is limited to a series of uses, fluid changes, tire rotations, accessory replacements. Probably would entail some servicing of heavier trucks, but also not limited to heavier trucks, probably all kinds of trucks. And I can let Avi talk more about the actual use specifically. But I think generally speaking, I mean, obviously the renderings and all that stuff we would have to address through the planning commission process, the DRC, whatever design, we would meet all the designer review requirements. I think the decision here is that there was a use discrepancy that was just vague enough that Bo and his team suggested that that wasn't super clearly defined, that they recommended for us to come before you guys so we get a clear interpretation of what the actual use and where it would fit within the C2 zone. And what we would suggest is that for the use that they are proposing would fit under the highway service district, aligning with the description that's in the paragraph form, even though it's not explicitly stated, there's not a clearly defined listed out permitted use within the table that's given in the ordinance. You can talk detail a little bit more about the actual use.
Sure. Thank you.
If you would just state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Avi Elfersey.
State your name and address for the record first, and I'll swear you in.
Avi Elfersey, 306 Sand Hill Road, Laverne, Tennessee.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Continue on.
So the general use would be for maintenance. We would not be doing any major engine repairs. We would not be doing any body work. We would not be doing any what I would consider serious mechanical. There'd be no lifts. It's not going to be serious mechanical work. It would be your maintenance. We'd be putting in new tires, putting on new shocks, putting in new fluids, swapping fluids out, things like that. So we believe that fits within the guidelines of the C2 guidelines. As far as the building, that's strictly just a placeholder. You know, our goal is to put together something that really embodies the future of Laverne there. We do want to have some split face stone or maybe some brick. We do want it aesthetically to be pleasing. That really is, we're not prepared to go before the Architecture Review Committee today. We don't have any plans for the building. We have an overall size of what we want and how we want to break up all of our different business entities. But the trucking and business, the vehicle maintenance repair business, that's only a portion of what we're looking to do in this spot. So we'd be looking at breaking out the back end of the building for that.
Okay, so I'm just looking at our rules and regulations as they presently stand. So you have automobile service, which means the replacement of parts, repair of any part of an automobile that does not require removal of the engine head or pan or engine transmission or differential, including but not limited to all changes, lubrication, cooling, electrical, fuel, and exhaust systems. So
And that's the space we operate in.
So you're looking at automobile service is what you're referring to, and not automobile repair.
Correct.
Which basically is general repair, adjusting, overhauling, removing, and replacing or rebuilding of engines.
Yeah, as defined in exactly what you just read, we're on the previous side of that.
Okay. So the question for staff first, Mr. Brown. I understand we're going to be doing some work, or the CSX going to do some work on the ramp either side of that. Would that be correct in the near future?
Yes.
Okay, but they're not widening. They're just stretching out the dip. Is that correct?
No, they're just doing some striping and stuff.
Okay, all right. My other question is, what is the planned width of your driveway entrance? Because that's obviously a big concern for getting new vehicles in and out of the property.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah, so we're, I think the max is 40 feet, is that right? The max driveway entry width, we would max it out, but the width of the driveway in and out would probably be 24 feet, two-lane traffic. And we've done some preliminary studies about the turning for tractor trailers to be able to come in and out. There are some utility kind of pedestals that are in that area. We've got a cell tower right there that we've kind of been looking at. So, I mean, obviously, these things we would have to verify and flesh out through the site design process. We've done some preliminary studies to show that the truck turning movements will work in and out of there. If we can fit the driveway entrance and flares and everything can fit in the right spot and meeting the right spacing requirements.
So we'd be closing this entrance and opening the wider entrance next to it.
The green unit there, that's the utility box you're referring to, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that my concern is getting your vehicles on and off the property flowing with the rest of the automobile traffic and not causing a headache. That's one of my concerns.
Which is definitely something that we would make sure and verify and confirm.
The
And show
alternative, is creating a median there where the utility box is and having an entrance and exit on either side of it. But I think getting traffic in and out of there, the only hardship there is that box. And in talking with the utility companies, it's just the bureaucracy of getting that moved, and it could take upwards of a year to get that moved. So working around that, I don't know that in this view, the right side is wide enough completely, but if we have either a truck entrance and a car entrance or entrance exit, but I think we'll have a lot of ability to take traffic off the road quickly.
Okay, and then my other question was for Ms. Logan. Looking at our present C2 uses permitted as special exceptions, I don't see anywhere in there that actually lists out full vehicles. The moment it says limited manufacturing, warehousing, sports and recreational vehicle camps, group assemblies other than racetracks and drag strips, assisted living and cellular towers. So I mean, that's for us on the legal side of it. I'm not seeing where it fits in.
Well, I think that was
You'd mentioned to us about fitting in with C2, and I'm now looking at the which one are you referring to? Because I don't see it listed here neither. It says automobile sales, rental and delivery, excluding aircraft dealers, boat dealers, and recreational and utility trailer dealers.
Yeah, I think that actually is
That's the
the
closest.
reason that we're here, is that there's not a automobile service is not listed as an explicit, is not defined under the permitted uses.
Right.
Under the chart or the list there. However, it is explicitly described as an allowable use or accepted use within the district description. So it seems like the automobile service is what the zone is set up to be for what these guys are trying to do.
But when you say that, which section are you referring to? I mean, I'm looking at it here. I don't.
5.053.2 under the highway service district.
Yeah, that's what I'm
district description.
District, okay.
The automobile and other vehicular service establishments, transient sleeping accommodations, eating and drinking establishments. It's just it's in the paragraph form.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I was looking at the list, uses permitted, and it's not in there. That's what I was referring to.
Agree.
But automobile and truck is,
Well, and so my first conversation, when I believe it's Mr. Khan, who's seated, was in probably August, and it was always about heavy trucks. This automobile aspect is new to me.
Which I would
So
say,
I've not heard about
I
that
would
until tonight.
suggest that the heavy trucks though would probably fall into automobile servicing. I mean, the difference between an F1
I would not.
or like a tractor trailer cab, you know, is still gonna be automobile servicing. There's not really a defined difference.
Mr. Kobe, you want to chirp in on this if you would, from the legal side?
Yeah, I guess I'm not following what the point. Maybe if they could explain it a different way, or I'm not.
More on the automotive side, I mean, I can.
So what it's referring to is, what they're referring to is under page 92, as we presently have the regulations, 5.053.2, the first paragraph, district description, the second sentence says automobile and other vehicle service establishments. That's what they're referring to.
So it doesn't define the size or shape of the vehicle, but, you know, a truck is an automobile, is a vehicle. And we see that fitting into that category.
Yeah, trucks are a different category altogether. I mean, the U.S. Department of Transportation defines trucks differently than vehicles, so I wouldn't agree with that.
It's a difficult one, gentlemen. That's why we're asking the questions, and we want to get it right. I mean, I just want to make sure we handle it. I mean, so, Mr. Kobe, you're referring to that a truck is not the same as an automobile? Is that you're referring to?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree that a lot of.
You mind stepping up, sir, if you were to? Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Please take your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Randy Kahn, 306 Sand Hill Road, Laverne.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, yes, in a lot of states for regulation for the vehicle themselves, as far as licensing and stuff like that goes, the state does identify those as different than, you know, a Toyota Camry. But in the city of Laverne, you know, what's been put out here in the codes, you know, in these codes here is that service versus repair has been very specifically called out. There's a whole, you know, paragraph about maintenance, and there's a whole paragraph about repair, but there is no definition in the cities, you know, the way the city views, you know, trucks versus cars. You know, it's a vehicle, and it's clearly says vehicle service. So a truck is a vehicle, and according to the city of Laverne.
I would disagree with that, because in subdivisions, an automobile, and Randolph, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but an automobile is allowed to travel to and from homes, but a tractor trailer is not allowed because of the weight restrictions and stuff like that. So, I mean, there is a difference.
Randolph, do you mind you chirp in if you would, please, sir? Just.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. I mean, our enforcement efforts on vehicles such as tractor trailer trucks are completely mirror opposite of what we deal with when it comes to an automobile. Like Kyle was saying, the gross vehicular weight determines the difference between an automobile and a truck. And I think that's what Evan was alluding to when it comes to Department of Transportation. They view the gross vehicle weight, axle weight,
Correct. That's exactly
as a
right.
truck versus the gross vehicle axle weight of a car. And so I think that might be these gentlemen's misconception, is that an automobile is strictly that, it's a passenger car or truck, not some commercial vehicle like will be found in a tractor trailer or dump truck or any other large truck for that matter.
Board members, any other comments you want to bring up and discuss with the applicant? Any other questions?
I don't at this time.
Charlie, have any comments?
I have nothing.
I mean, it's a very, you know, it's a very concerning area of what's going on. I'm not saying we can't overcome it, but I think the way it's presented and with our regulations are presently, it's very difficult to go against staff's recommendations. That's why I'm seeing it. So that's my comment. So no other questions, and want to make a motion for or against the applicant as submitted.
I'll make a motion against.
Make a motion against. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Unfortunately, the motion is denied, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay.
Moving on, item 2, a request for a sign variance property located at 5192 Merceborough Road, tax map 15, parcel B, parcel 9, C2 Highway Services Zoning District, property owner TN Rad Owner LLC, care of the Walgreen Company. Mr. Logan.
Thank you. This request is for extra signage at a retail store here in Laverne. It's the former Rite Aid store on Murfreesboro Road. And, of course, it's also at the corner of Stones River Road and Murfreesboro Road, not far from the previous item. So the closer view shows the store location and the parking areas. And this was Rite Aid formerly, and was Rite Aid for a number of years, and now has been vacant. I guess it was vacant maybe 2 years or 2.5, and now Pop Shelf has taken the building over and they've moved in. So Pop Shelf has, I'll show you the signage in just a moment, but they're zoned same as all these properties, again, but between Murfreesboro Road and the railroad track. So that's C2 commercial zoning. So here's the current look of the store. They basically were allowed by right one wall sign. So they've already put that wall sign on the building. And essentially, the request tonight is to get a second sign on the other facade. So this faces Stones River Road, and this side faces Murfreesboro Road. So the Murfreesboro Road has the Pop Shelf sign, but there's no sign if you come down Stones River Road. So that's essentially the request, and this is also in your packet. Shows you the exact dimensions and the specifications for the sign. And let's see, in the sign regulations, certain commercial and industrial sites can ask for extra signage if they meet the requirements set forth. And of course, they want this second sign because of the corner location and the high volume of traffic that this location garners. And this sign is just over 92 square feet. So they're allowed a wall sign to be 100 square feet. So they're at just over 92. So that's within the parameters of the ordinance. And then, of course, the shape and the color would be the same as the existing sign. So it's got the purple lettering on top and then the grayish color at the bottom. And they're only asking for the one sign, so it's a fairly small request. There's not a whole sign package, just the one sign. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Do we have the applicant here this evening, please? If you would step to the podium and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the whole truth and none but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Betsy Shackelford. I work for TriStar Transport, doing business as Premier Sign Company. Their address is 1720 Ed Temple Boulevard in Nashville.
Do you have any comments or what Mr. Logan reported? Is that accurate?
He has absolutely described the request. The former Rite Aid building had quite a bit more signage than what we are currently requesting. They had signage on both sides as well as this middle portion. I understand that, you know, sign codes have changed and that sort of thing, and so I completely understand that this would not be allowed at this point. But they would like to have the signs on the two sides of the building because there is so much traffic on both of those two streets, both Murfreesboro Road and Stones River.
So I have a couple of questions. So basically, it'd be the mirror image, that the one that's facing Murfreesboro Road, correct?
Correct.
Is backlit sign, is it lighted?
Yes, both signs are, well, the one sign now is illuminated and the other would be as well.
I'll just tell you the other board members, historically, when a building is on a corner like it is, we've moved forward because it's on two sides of the street, so, you know, that's what it is. And they are below the 100 square feet, which is another requirement that we have, so being 92, it still fits our requirement too. So, any other questions, comments for the applicant?
No comment.
I'll take a motion for or against as submitted.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you, Roger.
sirs.
That's the last item on the agenda. With that, I'll call the meeting adjourned.